Hi, welcome. Welcome. It's time for A Woman for Women. And this is a video I should have done a couple days ago. And I'm just getting to it now, so I'm sorry for the delay, but as they say, better late than never. So, thank you for joining me. And today I want to talk about being the best we can be as women. And because a lot of times we spend time in the men's world, we have to take on sometimes traits of being a man, but don't forget to be a woman too. So don't forget to still love and trust and have friendship. Don't forget to enjoy diversity and togetherness. Be helpful, peaceful, work towards community, and teamwork. Sadly, you can't expect that from your male co-workers. That's not really in their agenda. Their agenda is more competition, shunning, jealousy, hate, fear, terror, and overpowering. What I can say is sometimes if you're working in the man's world or living in a man's world, you have to take on some of those things yourself. So it's okay to interrupt. It's okay to be loud. It's okay to make a scene sometimes. Use these tactics when needed. Don't use them all the time. But don't be afraid to act like a man. I don't mean also in the bedroom, and I don't mean about cheating, and I don't mean about acting like a man like that. I mean about when you're in a board meeting and you have a point to say, just interrupt. It's okay. It's okay. They're not expecting it from you. So when you do it, it's going to be a shock. And it's going to say to them, hey, I can play your game too. So do it. It's okay. Even if you're young, even if you're old, do it. It's also okay to be wrong. Sometimes what you thought was right is actually wrong, and it's okay to change your mind when presented with new information. Especially if you're young. You're going to think you know a lot of things, but some things you don't know. And it's okay to change your mind when presented with new information. So as a woman, we are natural nurturers. It's in our DNA, it's in our makeup, it's okay. I mean, I think men have it too, but to a lesser degree, because they have that need to compare and compete. And this is a slippery slope that leads to bad thoughts and bad decisions. So don't do that. I am talking about these things because, I've been, as you know, I'm running for president of the United States. Or I'm not running, I am a candidate for president of the United States. And one of my platform pieces is to get women paid for their important work, and to separate the concept of wife, which is a job, and the concept of mother, which is a job. And they're both jobs to two different sort of people. And they're not necessarily the same thing or need to be included in one package. Of course, you can still do the package deal of being a wife and a mother, but you don't also have to. And I say this because sometimes, or at least in my day and age, fertility was often something that a man decided. Due to finances, due to having a man, due to many things. And I think, so it's our natural being's way of being as a woman is to have children. Now, I know it's not for everybody, but it is the essence of womanhood is to eventually somehow nurture and be a mother. So, like I said, though, it's not 100% necessary. It isn't certainly necessary to be a woman, but it is the one thing that we can do as a being that men cannot do. So they cannot get pregnant, be pregnant, and birth a baby. And they can't nurture a child the way we do. So over the past 40 years, many women have raised children successfully all by themselves, without a husband, without a man. So this is also possible. And so I think it's proven that women do a darn good job, and there's a lot less child abuse when there is no friction in the home. And so home, we may want to see it as something other than what we've been seeing it as. And home is certainly where we all are, where we feel most comfortable and happy, supposedly. But due to the fact that a lot of men today are quite irresponsible and not interested in being a provider for children, it is time to move away from the old establishment. And it's time to pay women for their important human contribution, making people. That's what we do. That's our specialty. We make people. There's nothing more important than that. So first off, if you are a mother or a grandmother, anybody out there, if you were ever once a mother, I want to say thank you, and I want to acknowledge the beauty and wonder of you. And being pregnant and birthing and raising children, it's a miracle. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing, wonderful experience, wonderful opportunity. And I just want to say thank you. Then, I think we need to realize that our current education system does not work for women whatsoever. I've been talking about this with many people lately, and the fact is that, we exactly when we're the most fertile is when all women start working after getting an education at a low-paying job. So why? Why would you work at a low-paying job? First job out of college or out of high school is exactly when you could be becoming a mother. And you could be getting lifelong learning of leadership, negotiation skills, crisis management, home economics, learning to balance budgets and all sorts of things, which, as we know in the USA, men can't do because our government is shut down right now, right? So had any of those men actually become mothers, Or had they had mothers in government, we'd probably have a balanced budget. So, that shoots a hole in the whole male concept that women just go shopping all the time. So, anyway, we learn so much as mothers. And I will say parents too. Men learn a lot from being a father. But I'm not here to talk about men, and I'm not here to talk about fatherhood. That's up to the men to do. I have a plan in my plan for my platform of family and family planning is that men are around and that they get paid for a day off each week to be a father. Because I do think that fathers are important. I don't think husbands are 100% necessary, but I think that fathers are a good thing. And I think if we follow my platform piece and move more also into a community organization where, like, let's say that some children don't have their father around. Maybe they're off doing some work somewhere, or maybe they've just disappeared. I don't know. But that's where then other fathers play a role, or grandfather age fathers play a role. So it's time to move back to community rather than family, so to speak, because I find that working in a hostile home is not the best thing for the children. They don't see things in a good light. And it's not healthy. And a woman's fertility should not depend on whether the man can afford it or not. A woman should be in charge of her own fertility, her own body, and do with it as she sees fit. So if she's got a child at 1, and in a year from now, when the child's 2, she's going to want to get pregnant again. Now, let's say that the so-called husband isn't around. Maybe he's on a job site someplace else or whatever. Or maybe he's disappeared or ran away or is around but not interested in her anymore sexually. So why should she not have children anymore? And why should she not be able to go find someone who wants to make a baby with her? So rather than finding a soulmate in the other sex, which is anyways also difficult, because men and women are different, finding a soulmate to make a baby is something. And working in partnership to raise a child together, but separate, is absolutely possible. Absolutely possible. Let me say it that way. Absolutely possible. Because it's been proven. There's lots of single mothers out there. Even mothers have done the impossible lately. Not only have they raised their children singularly, but they've held down good jobs while doing it. I'm going to say not all mothers, but a lot of them have. And I think that's really hard. And it's certainly not for everybody, and it's not what I recommend. I think when you have children, you should enjoy them. It's a short period of time when they're really small and growing, where just enjoy your child and the growth of it. And then later, you can worry about your life and career choices. Because what happens currently is we get out of school after getting a degree of some sort or training of some sort, and we work maybe 1 year. Then we settle down and we get pregnant and have a child or two. Then we're raising that kid, usually those kids, for, solid 5 to 10 years. And while we're doing that, we're stagnant with our career, while other people our age, mostly men, are way up here then. So we've lost out this whole space because we're doing a whole separate job. Then, and that first job that we had out there was a low-paying one. It wasn't the highest paying. So then, here we go. It's time to get back into the work world. But then all these connections have been made elsewhere. And basically, nobody wants you then. Plus, you're still down at that low-end salary range because you don't have the experience or expertise in that field. You have expertise in management. So what you do is you make a good manager or a good business owner or a good government official, because you've learned how to negotiate. You've learned how to deal with irate people and people who are not understanding things. So you've learned a lot of skills in another way. So to try to go back to where you were, you're not equal in the workplace with your male colleagues mostly, who are of the same age. And basically you're sort of back at the bottom, plus you forgot everything. So you've forgotten, depending on how long you were away from that original career choice, now you've forgotten everything. So, yeah, it's no wonder mothers who do become stay-home mothers lose out the most. It's been proven over and over again that that is a bad choice. And that's because we're trying to fit women into the man's education schedule. And it doesn't work for us. It just doesn't. I mean, for some it does, especially the ones that decide not to become mothers. But if we saw motherhood as a career choice, and if we realize that women have a different career path than men, then life would be so much more harmonious between everyone. So, my plan is to make motherhood a career choice. And I want to pay women $1 million a year for the first 5 years, and then it will go down to maybe $500,000. Unless you have another child, then it'll stay at $1 million a year for 5 years. And you will, how can I say it? Be trained, have benefits and all of that. But the problem is women, when we start to be a mother, we have to be professionals on day one. We have to know what we're doing on day one. And sadly, right now, a lot of women don't know what they're doing because there's never been training. They've never been trained. And so this has to stop. And then it's only later, after about 5 to 10 years, that the child is developed enough where they do their own things, where you just have to be around. You don't have to be directly involved in truly active mothering. So I think, in other career choices, the expertise is not expected on day one. But because babies are so fragile, it has to be there on day one. So I think we need to rethink the whole thing. Plus, currently in our current system, we also tell women, girls, don't get pregnant until you're basically in your late 20s. And so we lose from 13 to 23, that's 10 years of fertility, just out the window. Just throw it out, because that's all education time, right? Then 23 to 28, so 5 years, you're trying to save money when you're earning the lowest amount you'll ever learn in your position that you've chosen, because you're young. You have no experience, so you don't get paid a lot, right? Then, just when you're starting to make a good salary, you come out of the work field that you were trained to do. Then, with no training, you go into becoming a mother. It's just stupid. And that builds up a lot of this postpartum depression stuff. There are other factors involved too. I think orgasmic birth needs to be really looked at, because I think that's where we go mostly wrong with the postpartum depression, because there's no connection. Because women are getting epidurals or they're getting cesareans, and they have no connection with the birthing process, which is part of our right as women to go through it and to really experience the womanhood inside of us all. So we need to rethink this. I would like to make a category of young women who are around 14, 15 years old. So as some of you know, that in my platform 2 is to start an apprenticeship program for all kids in the USA, where they learn a skill so that they have something practical to fall back on, even if they want to become, I don't know, a rocket scientist. They need to know how to be a baker, or they need to know how to work on a car, or they need to know just basic skills of something. And so for women, women can choose to go the apprenticeship route of being a mother. And then you would spend like 3 days a week with mothers. Yeah, and maybe if there's still somehow orphanages, you might spend some time there too, and maybe even a little time in the hospital. And probably your first year of training will be a lot like body knowledge and nursing knowledge. And then you'll branch out into really being like a helping hand around the house for a busy mom who's got maybe a couple of kids. So you can get firsthand experience on what it's like to be a mother. And you can also learn a lot by watching and knowing what to do when you have a young person around. And then during those 3 years of your apprenticeship training to become a mother, perhaps you will maybe also, I don't know, you are certainly fertile at this point, probably, and maybe having a child of your own. So there might be a program for girls who get pregnant so early in their earlier, like around 16, because my plan is to have the apprenticeship go until 17 and then have a year of constitution practice. But what we can do there is we can stretch out that other, if you happen to get pregnant early in the program, then we can stretch out that other course to last a bit longer. Or, just have some sort of speed up of the education process. Maybe you go do some overtime studying and stuff. So we'll have to see how that will work. I'm welcome to anybody's ideas, but I think to let finances and other people decide your fertility. It's your fertility. It's your body. You are in charge. And I think this is where we go wrong. Also, life is long. So being in love with one person your whole life is darn near impossible. And I know that because I know a lot of women. And I know a lot of couples. And I know even a lot of men. And it's better to leave a bad marriage than to stay in it. Not everybody grows together in a marriage. There's no need to stay married in a hostile environment. Both people will benefit by separating if you're in a marriage. But if you choose to be a mother by yourself, you have that also capability under my program. You will get a salary where you will be able to have choices and make good choices because you will have the things you need to live life on your terms, supported by your town, by your state, and by your government, by the people. So, is there anything else I want to mention? Please, this is a great idea. It's exactly the problem, and it is exactly the solution. It is what needs to be done for women so we can be truly ourselves, truly in charge of us and our fertility. So I recommend, please, anyone out there who's in a position of power. I'm trying myself, but I'm not succeeding there, but maybe still something's going to change. But if it doesn't, pick this idea up and run with it, please. Let's get this done for the mothers, for the women, for the girls, for the future. So, you only have one life to live. You should do it on your terms. You are born alone, unless you're a twin, and you die alone, most likely. I mean, occasionally you die with other people, but it might not even be your spouse anyways. So, normally you die, you come in alone, you go out alone. So be in charge of your life. Take control. Take control. If you are constantly battling with your spouse, you don't have to stay. No, nobody said you had to stay. And you will land on your feet. Sometimes it's challenging, but you can land on your feet. Then, yeah, okay. You only have one life. So make sure you live it the way you want to live it. Make sure you live it with your boundaries and with your integrity. Don't let other people corrupt you. You are you. They can do them. So hold on to you and be the best you can be. And on that note, I think I'm going to end here. I hope this was helpful. I think you see where I'm going with this paying women to be mothers. Because, yeah, right now, we're being dominated, and it's got to stop. We have rights too. We're human, we're adults, and we're the more responsible one. We can balance budgets. So, it's time. Got it? Okay. Anyway, this is all I have to say for today. I wish you a wonderful day wherever you are. Thanks for stopping by. I am Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki. You can look me up on susan4usa.com. That's Susan the number 4, usa.com. I'm doing lots of things everywhere, trying to help out where I can. Okay. Have a good day. Bye-bye.